been such an epic journey for me, and I'm really excited to share it with in this way with you guys. I really hope you enjoy. Hey guys, so this is my first video diary for you all, and I'm coming at you on the night before my very first triathlon. So I am super nervous at the moment, but at the same time I'm super excited as well. I have to be out there at 6 a.m. and the race kicks off at 7. So it is nice and early, and yeah, I'm not doing this to win it. I'm doing this just to say that I've done it, and it definitely will not be the last. So it will be the first, but not at all the last. I'm enjoying training so much at the moment. Watch out, because here I come. So this was my first ever triathlon, and here I am getting out of the water. Third overall out of the water and first female. So I had no idea at this point, while doing this triathlon, how far that my story would actually go and how involved I would become in this sport of triathlon. You know, it's quite overwhelming to look back and kind of just see where it all started. Morning guys, so I'm in Noosa. Woo, finally. It's here. We actually went past the transition setup area, so it's all set up, ready to go. Obviously there's no bikes in there yet. It's huge. It's huge. It's just crazy. And we also went past the finish line, and I got very emotional, and I still do. I just can't believe that. You know, on Sunday I will be running through that chute, so it just hit me, I think, last night, how real this is and that I'm doing it, and yeah, it just got me, I think, and I'm very proud, and I just can't wait to be running through there on Sunday. So yeah, it was really cool to see. It's gonna be alive on Sunday. So the vibes here in Noosa are just incredible. Like I was saying, it's just so inspiring. That was a bean. You just see all these athletes, and it just, you know, it makes me proud because I'm one of them. You know, so yeah, pat on the back. And I really hope that I've helped, you know, inspire others to get fit and healthy and get their lives back on track too, because guys, honestly, I can't believe I lived the way that I did for so long. Now that I'm where I am now, I don't know why I did it to myself, because I have so much more quality of life now than what I ever did before. So good morning. So it's race morning, and I am a little bit nervous, but I'm not too bad. I thought I would be worse. So this is it. This is the big day, and For sure, I know that this is not going to be my last triathlon. So I finished Noosa Tri, my first ever Olympic distance triathlon, and then I decided that I was going to start training for my first half Ironman, which I was going to do in Cairns in 2017. Cairns Ironman 2017, 70.3 distance. So I was so proud of myself to have even got to this point, and I would have never in my wildest dreams thought this possible back in the beginning, from the morning that I made that very first video before my very first ever triathlon. Look how far I've come at this point. And little did I know that this was going to be the start of something huge. So after finishing Cairns half Ironman 70.3, I decided that it was time to step it up and do my first full distance Ironman. I was going to do it in Busselton in 6 months' time. So 6 months after finishing my first half Ironman, I went off to Busselton in Western Australia, and I was on the doorstep of my first ever full Ironman, and so proud of myself. Hey guys, so I am coming to you tonight from my apartment here in Busso with this beautiful view behind me of the marina, and I'm standing on my balcony at the moment. So this is a wrap for Friday pre-race, and I'm feeling super great. Still no nerves, very surprised about that. I'm not sure why I don't have nerves. Because I thought by now I would be an emotional, nervous wreck, but that's not happened. So, I mean, that's probably a good thing, right? Anyway, guys, I hope you guys are all having an amazing day or night, and I will chat with you all tomorrow, where I will be taking my bike into transition and putting everything in there. So I'm going to do a couple of feeds from there as well. All right, I hope you have an amazing night, and I will chat with you all tomorrow. Mwah. Peace. Bye.
Mom, come in. Mom, come in here. Come in here, Mom. Come in here.
That's a fish stick. Average weight on IMN. Lose 115 kilograms. And then get to the start line tonight. Ellie Goodall made it to the finish line. How good's that?
Pete, you know, she did say the other night when we spoke to her, she wanted you to be here and call her across the line. So she'd be so proud what she has achieved.
All right, well done, Michelle Buckland. Well done also to Wayne Ball. Well done, Wayne. You done the job, buddy. Well done.
Now, exceptional to see our 2017 Sun Smart Ironman WA male professional champion, Teresa Zone. He's down here as one handing out medals. So he's got a picture of
So straight after Busso, I jumped back into training for Cairns Ironman, and little did I know that these were going to be the last few days I would get the chance to ride that particular bike that I used to have. I was struck down and hit by a car on the 16th of December 2017 after I raced in Busselton, and I was very lucky. I got away with very minimal damage. However, my bike was written off. I went through a bit of a struggle after that. Mentally, it was just very hard. I couldn't do very much, but I knew I had to get back on track. I got back on my bike and I got a new racing bike, and yeah, training for Cairns Ironman was in full swing. I was prepared and ready to give it my all and see what this body could do again. Cairns Ironman is my favourite race. Cairns Ironman is, I guess I feel like it's my home race. Cairns is where I grew up, and you know, I absolutely love it there. It's such a beautiful place. I can't wait to go back. But you know, I get to spend time with family while I'm there, my nephews, and yeah, I just had a ball in Cairns last year. When I finished that race, I wasn't 100% sure what was next from there. I thought maybe it would be Busselton Ironman. I definitely wasn't expecting the surprise that I got after I finished Cairns Ironman. So just after I finished Cairns Ironman, I was called into an interview with Ironman for what I thought was Women for Tri, but it turns out they actually were making me the Ironman ambassador and gave me a ticket to Kona to race Ironman World Championships in October of 2018. It meant so much to me. I was shocked. I could not believe it. I had to constantly keep asking if it was real, if this was for serious, if this was actually happening. I was just so blessed. put together a little bit of a video to kind of show you guys how emotional an Ironman can actually be. It does go for a little bit and I do get very emotional, but it's definitely worth watching through this next little bit very shortly that's coming up, where I talk about the struggles that I went through on the run leg of Ironman World Championships. So let's talk about Kona, because that's where I had the biggest mental struggles I've ever had in any Ironman race that I've raced. And my first Ironman, the run, there was some big struggles and I was in tears. I had camera crew following me who got it all on camera, you know, me bawling my eyes out, but Kona was 10 times worse. So Kona, Hawaii Ironman World Championships, about 5 kilometers into the run, and a lovely local wet me, thinking that they were being really helpful because it was quite hot. They wet me with a hose and it just ran down into my shoes. So my shoes, they were full of water. Like, I'm talking, they were making noises every time I took a step. They were full. So I was only 5 kilometers into a 42 kilometer run at that point. Blisters started to set in at about 6 kilometers, so about a K after they wet me, and my shoes stayed wet for the whole race. So the blisters started to happen. Now, blisters I'm used to, but not this early on in a run. It was painful. It was so painful. But when I'm out there, what I think about, and it might sound really silly, but ballerinas. I don't know if you guys have ever seen ballerinas' feet underneath their shoes. Horrible, but they put up with it. So that's what I think about when I'm out there racing. You know what? This is not as bad as what those poor ballerinas have to go through, so just deal with it. Then at about the it would have been just over 10, maybe 15 Ks in, nearly 20 Ks. It was dark at this point and it started to bucket down with rain. And I'm talking torrential rain pouring down, which you would think is great, but it was dark. So I was starting to get cold. And there weren't many people around. There's no lights in Kona. On the run course, when you're out there on the Queen K highway and down in towards what they call the Energy Lab, there's no lighting. So it's pitch black, it's dark. So you can barely see the people running the other way. You can barely see the people in front of you unless they had a light on. It's dark. So at this point, this is when your brain starts to play big tricks on you, and I'm talking big tricks on you. This is where I came unstuck a little bit. I was in pain. I was in so much pain from my feet, and then it starts raining. My shoes are full of water. Everything's wet. I'm drenched. I'm cold. I'm drenched. I'm wet, and I still had 20 Ks to go. I stopped and sat down on the side of the road for a little bit, took my shoes off and just rubbed my feet. They were so sore. And thoughts of giving up definitely crossed my mind. But it was knowing that my family back in Australia and my coach, they were following me, they were tracking me. There's a live tracker. If any of you have ever followed Ironman before, you would know, you would know that you can track athletes. You know, if you know their number, you can track them through checkpoints. And on the run, I think there's a checkpoint every maybe 5 or 10 Ks. And so I knew that they would be waiting for me to go through each checkpoint as I came through, because they couldn't be there to watch me race. So I knew that they would be glued to their phones waiting and watching the live feed waiting. So I had to keep going because I just wanted to make sure that they weren't worried or concerned about me at all. And I know, Mum, I love you if you're watching this. My mum gets so concerned. And I didn't want her to worry or think anything was bad was happening, you know. My mum, when I first told her that I was going to do an Ironman, her first concern was that she's seen people doing, you know, endurance sports and they just drop dead. And I didn't want her to think that had happened to me. So I had to keep going. I had to put my shoes back on and I just had to soldier on. And that's what I did. Put my shoes back on and I soldiered on. My run walk program was kind of a little bit out the door. I was doing more walking than running. However, I did keep running. And I used the marker cones that were on the road to kind of guide me. You know, I would run 10 of them and then walk a couple and then run another 10. And it was more of a shuffle than a run at that point. I just had to get to the finish line. I knew cutoff times were coming up and I had to finish. I had to finish this race. So I got down into Energy Lab and got to the turnaround point on the run and knew that I had to do this. I was going to finish. It was still raining at this point. It didn't stop raining until maybe I had about 5Ks left and I was turning in towards to head in towards the finish line and it was completely clear. In fact, it looked like it hadn't even been raining there at all. I could hear the finish line from out on the Queen K Highway. So when I turned in towards the finish line, I got so emotional at that point. And I remember saying to myself, Mum, I'm coming to the finish line. I'm nearly there. I'm nearly done. So, then I turned on to Ali'i Drive, which is the road that the finish line is on in Hawaii. And I started sprinting. It just out of nowhere, miraculously, I could sprint. I was in pain. It hurt, but I could sprint. I could hear the crowd. And then I entered the red carpet. And at World Championships, the red carpet is lined with all of the flags of the world as you run down it. And all the crowd is there yelling and screaming. You can hear Mike on the microphone calling every athlete home. And I'm gonna insert my finish here. Guys, just know that the feeling of finishing an Ironman is something that not many get to experience. It's an accomplishment that not many can do. But if you're willing to work hard and put in that effort and that time to do it, the feeling that you get when you cross that finish line is something that is just so emotional. Especially coming from me, where I've come from and where I am now. It's just something that should be cherished. Wearing this medal means so much. You know, it's not just a medal to me. This is so much more than that. And this is something that I'm going to cherish for my entire life. It's a story that I will tell forever. And I'm just so grateful to be able to.
She did! You did it, Ellen! You did it! You are a winner! Ellie Goodall! You are an Ironman!
So I guess it's safe to say that this has been an epic journey and I'm not slowing down anytime soon. I'm back from Ironman World Championships and I'm in training for Cairns Ironman again in 2019. I'm so excited to see where else this journey can take me and the surprises that I will conquer or surprises I will see in 2019 and so on. Thank you so much, guys, for following my journey and the support that you've given me.